Yeah. So I brought it out not for my business, but because Bangladesh has arrows. The conference is known as Bangladesh Rising, but I think Bangladesh has arrows, and it is the beginning of another era. As had started in 1996 with the present Prime Minister as the then Prime Minister in 1996 with the private sector power generation policy. And I was very privileged to be able to implement that project and start the process of privatization of the power sector. Bangladesh has arose for many reasons. For the social infrastructure, while I've not been asked to talk about it, but Bangladesh has really beaten all its peers around in all the social infrastructures, be it education, be it mortality rates. Bangladesh is the longest in the entire Indian subcontinent, which itself is the aspiration of every human being. So that way Bangladesh provides that aspiration. And all other social infrastructure. In the physical infrastructure space, electricity has been phenomenal. The way the growth in the last 10 years, from 2008 to 2018, we have seen under the leadership of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, under the leadership of the Honorable Minister sitting here, the Secretary Mr. Azad sitting over here, the phenomenal growth that we have seen in Bangladesh. This has been possible with the government provided regulations and foundations. The private sector power generation policy, the IPP policy, Bangladesh Energy Regulatory Commission, the very capable and very thought through, very far-sighted contracts which are internationally accessible and bankable. Power purchase agreements, implementation agreements, gas supply agreements, fuel supply agreements, land lease agreements. All these agreements have provided the infrastructure for catapulting into a different stage and hopefully to the middle income and finally to the developed position that the Honorable State Minister has so eloquently said in the during the last 1 hour. I think the opportunity has now come for the rest of the world to see this Bangladesh which has risen, how they can connect themselves with this Bangladesh for their good as well as Bangladesh's good. It's always a give and take, and I, for one, do not believe that Bangladesh is in a position or was in a position to ask something with a beggar's hand or with requesting something to give. Bangladesh stands at a place where it is good for the United States of America, it is good for Europe, it is good for Japan. My friend and our partner, she sits here, and he would be saying from his side, it is to their advantage that they see Bangladesh as the best investment destination, which it is. We sit here today at the epitome of educational learning place of the world. And from here, I hope the world will learn that Bangladesh has arose, and the world will learn how to participate in this new Bangladesh that is going to rise, that is there, and that is supposed to support the whole global economy, that is supposed to support and hopefully will certainly support the whole global humanity. The Prime Minister of the country has shown extraordinary humanity by opening the doors to for the first time in the history that more than 1 million people were sheltered with the acceptance of the government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh. That's a human angle the world should not forget. The satellite is another era. The digital economy that has been brought. The foundation that has been created by another Summit Group's company, Summit Communication, by laying fiber optics. The infrastructure initiative of the government of Bangladesh to provide digital access, information technology access to each and every 165 million people is an amazing situation, and I hope the whole world will see that and will take advantage of that. Thank you very much.
I know we're running a little bit behind, so I'm going to keep the questions to a bit of a minimum, but I did want to ask Mr. Khan to comment on his experience with capital raising in the capital markets, and how does he see that evolving, and how important is that piece play and what a role it plays in the large-scale development?
Thank you very much. Not an easy question to answer, especially in the backdrop of our withdrawing the application to list for some time. But I think it's an opportunity to explain that to perhaps the Honorable State Minister, primarily, and to the legal chairman, both of whom are sitting here. One of the aspects of generation of electricity or supply chain management of the entire energy, from primary energy to distribution of electricity, is it is perhaps the most capital intensive sector in the whole of Bangladesh, from provisioning of the primary energy to the distribution of electricity. And in that space, capital shortages are certainly a major hindrance for the development. So we found out that the nearest place where the world plays and can provide capital is through the Singapore Stock Exchange, SGX main board. So that's where we are planning to list, and we had actually received the ETL, entitlement to list, and then we had lodged to receive the funds. But unfortunately for us, a couple of days before our actual transaction, the rhetorics of the Twitter war between the United States and China started on this trade war, or everybody putting taxes on each other's commodities, and the market tanked. And when the market tanked, it was impossible to get the focus of the large funds that were all committed to place in Bangladesh's first international exchange. And that's a matter of luck. So we have just delayed the process. We will go into it, allowing the market to settle down, and the volatility, as they call it, the VIX, which has moved up to 30-35. Usually, in the opinion of the three banks, the DBS, UBS, and Citi, for our issue managers, should be below 15 for us to get focus of the international investors listening to a news story, rather than their own books, where they're losing money or making money. So that is the situation on that. But Bangladesh's respectability has come up to such that the private sector as well as the government can definitely think about bonds, as well as raising funds in various other ways in the international market. The context has changed. Bangladesh has arose, as I mentioned before, and the private sector of Bangladesh has, under the allowance provided by Bangladesh Investment Development Authority, as well as the Prime Minister's office, and all around the power division itself, has provided a huge understanding in the international community that how important Bangladesh is. I think we are at that point where we will see a huge increase in foreign direct investment, as well as takeovers, as well as mergers and acquisitions within Bangladesh, and we will see a very robust market. The other aspect that has really played well for Bangladesh is, as we all know, that democracy and free market economy perhaps move hand in hand. The country has now proven for a long time a democratic process, and in December we have an elections. I think after the elections there will be even more recognition of a continuing political system taking strong roots into Bangladesh, and along with it, that the allowance that the government has provided for a free market economy for the private sector to develop, which is well explained by Ridwan when he says that there are about 40 independent power producers. 40 independent power producers, I don't think that there are that many power producers in India, or certainly not in Pakistan. India is a very large country, so I don't know the numbers. But nowhere there is such expansion of the private sector. A little bit of personal satisfaction and company satisfaction. Only in the last 9 months, we have completed a 300 megawatt power plant in 9 months, and this is a world record. And we would all be able to see it very soon at the Guinness Book of Records that a 300 megawatt power plant can be implemented within 9 months. I have another great person sitting over here, Mr. Tapal Chaudhary, who was our advisor, energy and power. And in the rank of a minister. During his currency as the advisor also, through international tender, we had received 120 megawatts, which was all that was tendered for, and he was one person who said that since they are the lowest, irrespective of the chairman's place of residence, they should get it, because at that time I was not in Bangladesh. And those were also implemented on time. Dr. Chaudhary had come to open them immediately thereafter. So I think this hand-in-hand progression of the private sector and the democracy would enable Bangladesh, all the other Bangladeshi good companies with good corporate governance, would be able to go to the international market. I personally feel, with the honorable advisor, Dr. Mushir Rahman being here, a little bit of more freedom in the foreign exchange sector is necessary. The currency is within 55,000 square miles. It should be allowed to move around in a free market economy. Such foreign exchange regulations act as we have today are outdated in my personal view. Thank you, sir.